Hello and welcome back to the Reptile Goth YouTube channel. As always, I am your host, Morgan. This week we're going to be talking about the giant hornets that have been making nests in the headlines. Specifically, we're talking about the Asian Giant Hornet, Vespa mandarinia, and these are known to be the world's largest hornets. And if you look at the news articles, they say that they're all about 2 inches long, and that's kind of true. So let's dive in a little bit into who these hornets are before we dive into what the news is saying about them right now. These hornets are indeed the world's largest hornets. Queens get up to about 5 centimeters or 2 inches long. However, the average worker hornet hangs out more around 3.5 to 3.9 centimeters, or about 1.5 inches long. So a little bit smaller. And they have bands of orange and brown the length of their body. So it's kind of a similar coloration to other bees and wasps, just a little bit more of a burnt color than a bright yellow and black. Their native habitat is Eastern and Southeastern Asia. Most notably, they are found a lot in Japan. And they like kind of low mountain forested areas. They're not really seen a lot in plains or areas very high in elevation that get super, super cold. But the habitat they like is very similar to the Pacific Northwest of North America. And their diet primarily consists of insects like beetles, hornworms, mantids, and then other social wasp and bee species. And this comes from where they get the nickname murder hornet. This is specifically referring to how they will attack a colony of bees. A scout will mark a hive when she finds one, and then more hornets will come back with her to find that hive and then slaughter all the bees there so that they may feed at their leisure. So, murder hornet. However, they are not only insectivores, they will also feed on tree sap and fruit as well. So they are considered omnivores with a primarily insect diet. They're also very well known for their extremely painful sting, and their venom is more toxic to humans than that of a honeybee. However, most of the deaths that are because of their sting is due to an allergic reaction, and it's only really a handful of deaths that are the result of these stings. In general, they don't really care about humans, and they're probably going to ignore them unless a nest is disturbed or a hive where they are feeding on the bees is disturbed. So, like bees, if they're left alone, they're probably going to leave you alone as well. Now, let's dive into what the news is currently saying about them. And our stories are going to date all the way back to September of 2019, when a colony was found and eradicated on Vancouver Island. And then later in the same year, in December, 2 more wasps were reported in Blaine, Washington, about 50 miles from the original Vancouver colony. Now, one of these reported hornets were collected. It was dead at the time of collection, and genetic testing showed that it was not related to that eradicated Vancouver colony. And the other hornet was never found, and there has never been signs of a nest being found from that hornet either. Probably the most upsetting headline we're seeing that is talking about these incidences back in the fall and winter of 2019 is the headline that murder hornets are invading. Now, there is no confirmation or evidence of a full-blown invasive species invasion, And this is coming from Doug Yangia of University of California, Riverside, who is one of the heads of their entomology department and one of the leading entomologists in the country as far as identifying insects and other fun things like that go. And also Floyd Shockley of the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. There are other entomologists as well that are specifically saying there's no evidence of an invasion and there's no reason to think that that original colony was not eradicated back in September. The other thing that we're seeing in the headlines and in these articles is that murder hornets will mean disaster for bees. Now, there are measures that can be taken and are taken in Asia to protect the domesticated honeybee populations. There can be traps put at the entrances of hives that allow in bees but not hornets because of the size difference. And there are also baited traps that can catch and kill hornets. Again, both of these methods are used in Asia to protect their domestic bee populations. In fact, if these giant hornets were to invade, they would be more of a threat to wild social insects that do not have the human protection and cultivation like the honeybee. And the more immediate threat to honeybee populations are the parasites and pesticides that have already been wreaking havoc on these cultivated colonies in North America and in other areas where they are present as well. Now, in general, it seems like these popular news sources are taking the dramatic headline and common name to kind of misrepresent the situation and get more clicks on the stories. But that is speculation on my part a little bit. However, if you do look at the more mainstream media and the more scientific publication media sources, there is a very different tone in how this story is being covered. But if there is no established population, where did the hornets that have been found come from? Well, probably they came in hitchhiking on or inside some shipping containers. And this is just a common way that species are accidentally moved all the time, and has been a common way that species have accidentally been moved from one place to another as long as humans have been moving and shipping things. They hitchhike inside packs or in ships. It's a thing that's unfortunate but happens, and that is most likely where the Vancouver colony and the 2 hornets that were found in December came from. A quick thing that's kind of an aside to this story that I do want to talk about here is that the honeybees that we have in North America are specifically the European honeybee species. And the honeybees that have evolved alongside these Asian giant hornets, the Japanese honeybees, have developed a strategy that helps protect them from hornet attacks. And this strategy is that when a hornet does invade the colony, the bees will immediately surround the hornet and vibrate their wings, creating a lot of carbon dioxide and a lot of heat to basically suffocate the attacking hornet. Now, of course, this doesn't happen 100% of the time successfully, and they can be overrun by a large colony of hornets, but it is an interesting adaptation that they have evolved. And this is not seen in European honeybees. But Japanese honeybees are not the only honeybees cultivated in Asia. They also do cultivate the European honeybee, which has been chosen by beekeepers and farmers throughout the ages because they are known to be docile while also producing a very large amount of honey. So this just shows that European honeybees are successfully cultivated in areas that have had the Asian giant hornets literally since the species existed, and they are successfully keeping them. Their European honeybee population is not wiped out. It's just some measures to be taken to protect those bees. But again, I would like to emphasize, Asian giant hornets are not currently thought to be invading North America. And murder hornets are invading is just a catchy headline that gets people to click on an article. But the Washington Department of Agriculture is urging any future sightings to be reported to the pest program. And I will provide the relevant number, email address, and link to that down below for anyone in the area who does happen to see one of these hornets. Because we are at a point where they're not considered invading, but if any are seen, eradicating any nests to make sure it does not become an invasive species in the Pacific Northwest is of the utmost importance. All right, well, that's about what I have for you guys today. I do hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you all next time. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out the agr.wa.gov for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.